Hello, and thanks for joining us today for a look at the dashboard reporting option within Sage 100. That's part of the Business Insights program. We've done a series related to the Business Insights, but today we're going to focus on the dashboard reporting. I'm Sue Dunn, the Sage 100 Sales Director here at Rand Group. And just a little bit about our background is the Sage practice has been a partner with Sage for over 30 years, and we have a highly skilled team of absolute experts for our consulting team. We have master developers and have been working extensively with the Sage products for over those 30 years. So today we're just going to focus a little bit on Sage 100 and its dashboard reporting, and hopefully educate you a little bit about what that looks like. Our basic agenda is going to be doing an overview of activating the Business Insights dashboard, then actually setting up some user access and how you manage those, setting what's displayed for each one of those users, refreshing the data, drilling into the reports from the dashboard and what that looks like. And then we'll talk a little bit about the other reporting options that are either native to Sage 100 or options that you can look at depending on the extent of the information that you're looking to retrieve from the database. So we're going to next shift into the product demonstration. So bear with me, I'm going to launch the actual software and we'll take a look. So with your Sage 100 system launched, the next thing that you're going to look at is, do you have Business Insights showing as one of your options on your programs? Then the first thing that's listed there is the dashboard, and then of course we've got all the Explorer views below the dashboard options. If you choose the dashboard options and the system hasn't already been activated, what's going to happen is it's going to warn you that this has not been activated and that you need to go through that through company maintenance. So if you don't have access to company maintenance, then you're going to have to get those privileges. So it automatically turned around and is going into the company maintenance section. And I want to click the Activate button up at the top. And I'm going to tell it that I want to activate the Business Insights. And we're going to proceed. So now that's been activated, if I go back here, it should show as activated, and it does. So we can accept that and close out of there. And we'll go back over to Business Insights. And we'll use a current date. I'm going to put in the date that my particular demo system is in. So next we're going to go to the options again. And now we want to set it up. So that's the message you get, that you're going to need to set it up. We're going to say, yes, we want to set this up. And let's go forward and see what options we have here. So if you key in your company name, and this one it happens to be ABX for the demo, you can actually add a logo that would show up on the screen when you launch and run it. And how many segments do you want in your pie charts that show on the screen? So you can go up to 6. And how many detail lines in a table showing on the screen? The next is the additional. Do you want to prompt the user for updates? And you've got options. And so I'm just going to say never for our exercise. And automatically display, perform the updates on the page generation. If I check that, it should do that, and it should do them every 24 hours. But we're going to manually manage this during this demonstration. So it's going to ask me to go ahead and generate the pages. So now you can see that it took, and it's going to put this information on the actual main page from your information center on your Sage 100 system. So if this is fresh and you have nothing else in here, this is going to be the information that pops up. So here we're going to click here to set up the user data. Me too, it's popping on my other screen, so bear with me. And there we go. So this will be the screen that's telling you that you're in the maintenance wizard and we want to set it up. So we're just going to go ahead and say next. And we want to configure the dashboard for which user. Going to take a look here at the users that are available. So I happen to be logged in as MAS. I'm going to choose that. I'll allow the user to modify the dashboard page. What that really means is that once it's configured and you've set it up, because you can control which users see which pieces of the dashboard, do you want to allow them to be able to shuffle the information around and move it and display it differently or hide it? So by checking that box, that gives them that control over that part of the system. If it's set for never and selected at the prompt for the user to update, this gives you that control. Never prompt the user for dashboard updates. That would only allow that to update when they launch it. So let's go to next. And so these are the different aspects of the dashboard. These are built in. This is what Sage has pre-configured for the system. But here are the different options. You can add the accounts payable, aging analysis there. We've got a cash requirements. Gives you an idea of what that might look like. Payables, aging, we'll add all of these, but purchases, and it tells you whether it's half a screen or full screen as far as the real estate on the screen that it's going to take up. So let's just go ahead and add them all, and we'll take a look at those, what they look like, and being able to maneuver back and forth and move the data and shuffle things around. So here too, you can move it up and down depending on what exactly you want to be primary and showing, because again, there's only a certain amount of space that you see originally. But what do you want to show first? And let's say that you wanted to see your top customers first. You can move that up. Let's put that right at the top. And that's a half a screen. And let's say that the next thing that you wanted to see was your aged receivables. So let's put that up at the top. So this would be ideal for somebody like the accounts receivable person who manages the receivables, and then you can do the same thing and just have it focus on a specific portion of this for certain users. So let's go ahead and say next, and we're going to go ahead and say finish. So now let's go ahead and display the dashboard. And on my other screen, it's actually doing some calculations. Bring that over so you can see that. And it's populating the information in the tables. So what it's doing is looking at the database and looking at these current specific data and giving you feedback on what does that look like. So here we've got our receivables aging and the top customers in a snapshot. Now the beauty of this is you can also drill into the reports and the specific customers right from this particular screen. So that's the accounts receivable piece, so that's ideal again for the person working in the receivables area. And then we come down and we've got a payables chart. It's ideal. Cash requirements, what does that look like? Payables aging. And if there was any purchasing information, nothing current in there. And again, it would look at your top vendors. Here's an analysis of the accounts receivable. And these can be, again, maneuvered and moved to wherever you need them to display as quickly as possible, because anytime you come into Sage 100, first thing it's going to show is this dashboard. So cash flow. Now the cash flow predictions, you will have to configure the chart of accounts to make sure that they're tagged as cash flow counts. And if they're tagged correctly, then it will populate this cash flow predictions area. But again, there's a tagging for each chart of account number, and you'd have to indicate whether or not it's part of the cash flow analysis. Then we've got an analysis here of sales by division, if you have multiple divisions. For the financial folks, you can get a balance sheet snapshot, balance sheet summary. If you're using budgets, you've got a budget comparison. And more budget information. And income statement details, and income statement summary. And some ratios. Solvency ratios. And again, sales by product line, where you'd probably want to group these types of things, all in the sales area for sales managers and accounting people. For the items, you might want to have it set up specifically for the purchasing and AP people, maybe some of the sales people related to, the top items that you're working with within the system. So that's your basic configuration and what's available. Then again, looking at what you can do with drilling into the information. Let's just take a look at the top. We'll go back up to the top customers. And let's just drill into American Business Futures right from here. And that pops up their customer maintenance record. There we go. Oh, popped it up twice. So it should launch that and bring it up immediately so that you can drill right into it if you had something that you wanted to look at related to, what the information that's in here for period to date, year to date. So that is how the basic configuration of the dashboard is managed. And here you can start the automatic dashboard updates. And if you would close out of here and relaunch that, it's going to refresh the data. So that gives you that capability. So now let's go back in here under maintenance and look at what it would look like to actually change and hide some of the information from some of the users. So let's configure this for the user that we did before. And again, you could change it so that the user themselves could modify it, but if you want to control it for who's using or seeing what information and what pieces of the dashboard, you would manage this for them. So again, let's take anything out that's not, let's say, customer or sales related. And let's move them all back and just bring over the accounts receivable pieces and the sales pieces. We're going over the top customers, sales by division. We don't have any divisions in this company. Top customers. And let's just say next. Now, this would be changing that to configured just for my login, which is the MAS. And now when I display the dashboard, it's going to change it to what I just switched to, and should only have the customer-related pieces on here. Let me close these. Let's start that over. There we go. I might have too many of them open. So before we look at this with it being modified, let's go back in and look at the dashboard wizard and just do a quick check, and let's make sure that we've got it set where the user can modify the screen if they wanted to. Just makes it a little bit more streamlined for the actual users. So that is checked. So let's go next and finish this and take a look at what this might look like. So I'm going to close that one, and here we've got, now this tab has that refreshed part where it's just looking at the accounts receivable, receivable aging, sales, sales by division, top customers, and sales by product line. So let's do this again and just display the dashboard, let it refresh. And we're actually toggled over to the other one. And one other thing I wanted to show you now with that changed, it should show that this is modifiable by the user. I'm going to do it one more time. So now we're looking at the refreshed data with it minimized to just the accounts receivable pieces that we've tagged this user to be able to see. So all of it's related to sales and accounts receivable. And we also had changed and toggled this so that the user could modify this, so that option should be up there on the screen as well. So this gives you an idea of what the dashboard would look like whenever you come into the system. So the standard screen, this is the basic Sage Information Center. And when you're looking at the views here, you've got web content that relates to all of these different hyperlinks that can take you out. You can look at information that's available. But this is where the Business Insights dashboard would be displayed. So to get a little more real estate there, you can hide your menu options and get over here and have that display. So this is pretty handy for executives who want to see their information as well, as far as maybe seeing the balance sheet and income statements at a glance when they first launched the system. That could show them this in a snapshot. So again, depending on how extensive your reporting needs are, this may be enough to at least give many of the people in the company the visual they're looking for charts and graphs related to the performance in different areas of the company. So just a handy tool, pretty easy to set up, built into the system. So definitely, worth at least considering setting this up and launching it for your users. So now that you've seen what the Business Insights dashboard looks like for Sage 100 and you get a feel for how to set that up, pretty straightforward, not much involved, and just gives you again that visibility to graphical and charts for the performance of the different areas of the company. The other things that you might want to consider, so if you need more extensive reporting, there's definitely different options that are available. The things that are in the system, just as a reminder, Sage 100 inherently has the native Crystal Reports option. All the reports, all the forms are Crystal Reports, and those are easily modifiable. Reports can be done from scratch and just utilize the tables that are in the system and extract the data as needed, present it as needed, and a little bit of Crystal experience, or our technicians and consultants can work with you to help create just about any report you're looking for. The Business Insights is available, and that's native to the system. You've got the Explorer views. You've also got the capability to set up the dashboard. So with that gives you additional reporting options. Another thing that's native in the system is this advanced lookup engine. And that's when you've got those listings, you can customize and create lists and shoot those out to Excel. All of these can actually be pushed out to Excel pretty easily, especially Business Insights Explorer views and the advanced lookup engine. Easily can take those out to Excel from just a click of a button, actually. Then we've got Sage Intelligence, which is built in. It comes with all of the systems. That leverages Excel in the background. It's designed to do financial reporting. You create templates. You can update those on a regular basis. There's viewer licenses. You can publish those reports and actually have them automatically emailed. But this is included in the system. Again, leverages Excel and widely used by a majority of our clients who need to do that extra pieces and want to slice and dice their information in a very specific way within the system. Then if you need something even more extravagant and you want something where you've got lots of charts and graphs and that you can customize those, then to get more extensive, we've got Sage Data and Analytics, which is a third-party product by Zap, and that allows you to use a web-based portal that you can pull in the data from Sage. It synchronizes on a regular basis, and again, those forms and reports that you're looking for analytics can be brought in there, and it can be customized. It's got some basic templates that are already created, and so it's really a good tool as well. Sage Enterprise Intelligence is kind of along the same lines as the data analytics tool. Both of these are products that are endorsed by Sage. They work and have integration specifically for Sage 100. And then, of course, we've got Power BI. So if your data is housed in a SQL database, you can leverage Power BI. And we've got some companies that do that, and that's a great tool as well, because then you can, again, configure it however you'd like for slicing, dicing, and presenting your information. And lastly, and I don't have it on this particular slide, but there is the AI initiatives that are happening, and so not 100% sure what that's going to look like in the future, but coming down the road are potential AI leveraged type reporting options that will be available through your system, where it'll access the data and present it pretty much however you want. So those are things that are in the works, but the things that you have available at your fingertips today are those listed on this slide, and the ones that are native to your system. Certainly not difficult to utilize those, set them up, and if you need help with anything, obviously you can always call and talk to our support desk or one of our consultants, and we certainly can help you get the reports that you're looking for. And with that being said, I want to thank you for joining me as we look through this Sage 100 dashboard option. And if you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us via this number. And we've got our email addresses on here. We've got info@Rand Group, or my email address here. So again, feel free to reach out if you need anything, if you need support, or you'd like to talk about different options that are available. We're here to help, and we appreciate you taking the time to look at our session today. Thank you, and have a wonderful rest of your day.